But yeah, it was really good talking about culture is not your friend. And I was just like, the last thing that I was thinking of there when David was talking was about ISIS and the jihadis chopping people's heads off and putting people into cages that and then they set them on fire. I haven't seen it. I've heard it described, and it's buttressed. It's buttressed by Shell getting there 2 weeks ago an £11 billion deal in Iraq, and it's buttressed by the last night at the Oscars. All the films, every single film at the Oscars last night, all put together, never took as much in the box office as American Sniper. It was like the number one, and that's what they do with culture. So I mean, the whole thing in Iraq is like, the history's known, you know, it was like BP. But what they do is they have films like Three Kings. Three Kings was Mark Wahlberg, Ice-T, and George Clooney. And it was a massive grossing film. It was like something like one of the, like 600 million or something really ridiculous. Still sold today, still shown today. So you have Mark Wahlberg, Ice-T, George Clooney going across the desert in Iraq, and they steal all the fucking gold. They steal all the gold, but they save the Iraqi people. Now this is people up in Nottingham, people in Berlin, people in Washington. You know, they will consume that, and they believe that is historical. You know, because this is how they know that through culture, through books, through writing. You know, the largest selling books are Andy McNabb in this country. You know, like the SAS guy, it's massive. Puts in all other literature in a, you know, that. I went to the Museum of Childhood last year, and they had it was war. So they done all the different toys that had gone with every single war, and it went back to sort of like Charge of the Light Brigade, all the little metal things, and all up to, you know, how they use that, because it's like, where do you get your knowledge from? You know, you get your knowledge and things not just from governments, but these people that are involved in culture, like what our friend was talking about, BP. You know, that they're involved in that cultural cleansing of their brand, of their name. And you know, there's a cultural cleansing of America and of Britain. You know, the way that I call it, I don't know if you watch my videos, it's like the Nietzschean collective morality. And what that is we're the good people. You know, and really what it's about civilized and uncivilized. You know, that's what they're trying, that's what, you know, it's the way that we couldn't possibly do anything wrong. Like when JJ was talking about all the things that come from Congo, the richest country in the world for resources, bar none. You know, and you've got Paul Kagame, and, you know, even the guy who used to have, like, he used to fly the Concorde in there, you know, but all of that is you know, it's massive. They are weapons. They are weapons to you know, weapons of mass destruction to use against everything. And that's what I say, like, just to try and claim a little bit back. Like I do that thing about painting fucking trees like artists. Like I go around, I lecture in universities, but most of the time I spent 5 years at fucking Chelsea doing tutorials. So you go in, you do 8 40-minute tutorials. You know how draining that is. You know, as an artist, I wanna sit down. I want someone who makes art that just like fucking knocks you out. Do you know what I mean? If you're making art, you should be thinking about, how am I gonna make something so extraordinary? You know, that why are you crying? You know, because they've been looking at your art. You've got to pick them up at the floor because they've been knocked out. I'm trying to tell them that, and they're painting 6 fucking trees. That's what I say to this student. He's like, what are you doing? You know, they're all this different, same type of tree in different colours. He says it's a series. said, what the fuck is this shit? You know, it's a responsibility to be an artist, to use that privilege to make something fucking extraordinary, to politicize your work. But what we have is we have the powers that be. They want to control it. They want to control it. So they don't just control what I was telling you about at the beginning. They don't just control all of the EastEnders and the football. They want to control the fucking avant-garde. You know, they want to control them as well. So in London, the largest collector, the largest is in the Prince of Wales Drive, and it's Slablimovich, which is a massive fucking supporter of the arts. Anita goes around, she buys up, she goes to every single where. Like every single avant-garde artist in London, you go onto their website, thousands of names in their collection. You know, she's married to like, he's an Israeli arms dealer, do you know what I mean? They made all their money out of like, this is the compromise. Bloomberg's, I mean, I did a show at Bloomberg's. It's like, it's very difficult. So like when I was thinking, I didn't even make a connection, do you know what I mean? When I was making work then, when I did a show at Bloomberg's. Wow. But they own it, do you know what I mean? I remember going into Bloomberg's, there was like, there was all fish everywhere. They had all these walls with fish, like massive fucking tanks. And you can just eat. They had feeding stations for the people. You just eat, you know, there's like food, you just take the food. There's like, people go around with canapes. You know, the art world, the avant-garde art world, it's really shit. No, because art's on its arse. You know, we're in a postmodern period. Art is really on its arse. You know, where are we? Do you know what I mean? There's no fucking movement. You know, the people that are the real artists now are like the ones going out onto the streets, you know, Occupy and UK Uncut, you know, E15 Mums. You seen the E15 Mums fucking banners? They are so cool. You know, the art, you know, the pointlessness of before I come here, I went over to the college over there and I just jibbed in. I said to the guy, all right. And so I went up to sculpture. I was mooching around sculpture. But it's like, you know, if you took away the fucking, the plaster, they wouldn't know what to do. They're like fucking addicted to plaster. They're addicted to a medium. They're so fucking stuck. Do you know what I mean? They don't know what... I mean, I'm sure there's people in there, if you go and dig them out individually, but art's on its arse. All the art movements that's ever been, if you think about it, are shit. Do you know what I mean? Proper fucking shit. I mean, you take this, right? You think about this, right? In the middle of the Cold War, but not just the Cold War, napalm in fucking Vietnam. Do you know what I mean? Massive fucking wars going on. It's like, what was minimalism? The fuck's that shit? Well, they got fucking, what is that? You know, there's a war, people are dying, they're on fire, there's a girl, like, their skin's burning off on them. Let's do some minimalism. You know, art is a responsibility, you know? Yeah? Yeah?
I am not an artist.
Yeah.
I'm an activist. I'm an academic of sorts. But you know what? Those of you that are artists in the audience, come and join us. Join in, find out what we're doing, and create your art with us. You know, don't do it separate to us. Create your art with us. Actually, we need you. And there's one thing that we know, actually, in the activist world, if you work into communities, is we need the artists. We actually need you. So, you know, come and join us. Don't be separate to us.
But a lot of the activists, you know, yeah, it's okay, you clap, they fucking hate you. If you're an artist, they hate you. They hate you. They do, because like I know, honestly. It's like, yeah, fucking, you're just doing it. You're just, when I say it's an art practice.
Don't do weird sort of like silent drama or anything. But do you know what? We need you. We do. The art world and the activists world, we actually need you.
Yeah,
You know what? Come join us.
But it's like how, because it is it's quite sort of like, okay, making art is something else, isn't it? Making art as its own language. Do you know what I mean? It really does. It's not like the other mediums, you know, like films or books or anything you make. Art's not like that. Art is not like anything, and that's what fucks their heads up. That's why they don't want it. Do you know what I mean? That's why they want to shut down people that make art. You know, the government and the people. Seriously, they don't want people to be making independent, reactionary art. Do you know what I mean? They don't want that. It's a big problem because they look at it and they think they look at it and they go, the fuck's that? What is that? You know, because he's got his own. They can't make it out. Do you know what I mean? Because it has a way. It's got its own delivery. You know, so you don't even have to. There's no words attached to it. No, that's why it just goes like that. It's so fucking powerful. You know, I went over there to South London Gallery, and it was the guy who had been going around the world, Kevin Carter. No, going around South Africa. So I went to see Kevin Carter's piece. Kevin Carter. It was about Kevin Carter, South African. And the guy who made it was, I can't remember it now, South American artist. And Kevin Carter it was just words. Kevin Carter's the guy who, just Kevin Carter. He was in South Africa and he was like in the army and he got kicked out, didn't want to be in it, become a photographer, joined this thing called the Bang Bang Club, going taking pictures of people with burning necklaces, things in apartheid in South Africa. He went north. And he went to, and then it says Kevin Carter. I'm sitting there thinking, fucking hell, what's going to happen? So he's gone north, and it was the second big famine. So he arrives in this town, and everyone's fucking dying, and he goes out, and there's a little girl, and he sees her. She's like 5 or 6, and there's a vulture just behind her. So Kevin Carter sits down underneath the tree, gets out his tobacco and starts rolling. He's a photographer. Starts rolling, waiting for the shot. He's rolling like that. It's just all in words. I'm just reading it in words, in a gallery, in a room, on my own. And then suddenly, I didn't even see it. There was all these lights that you don't see because you was in the darkness. It just goes bang like that. So you get blinded, and just as you just see this little girl who's crawling, and behind this big vulture. You know, I was like, oh, this. And then Kevin Carter wins the Pulitzer Prize. He puts it goes on front of Time magazine, and he wins the Pulitzer Prize. But he leaves the Pulitzer Prize, he goes to a car and he kills himself. He puts a hose and he gasses himself in the car. I was thinking, like, probably because of the cigarette, you know, because he thought, I'm going to wait. But he was like so emotional, you know. You couldn't, the way that the whole room was set up, you couldn't have watched that on the TV. You couldn't have experienced it anywhere. You know, you're left shell shocked. You know, you're crying when you're leaving because you've got so many questions like, oh, what happened to the girl? And you start making them up in your own mind, thinking, oh, he picked her up, or how could he pick everybody up, or all those things. But that's what art, you know, the power to engage with people, you know. And there's loads of mediums out there, isn't there? Now there's loads of frames, there's like internet and YouTube and things, and you know, it's so incredible being an artist. I'm so passionate about being an artist. I can't believe it. Are you really a taxi driver? So, you know, no one ever says, "Oh, are you really the artist?" Do you know that I worked that out, and that's because the demographic of my audience is not the fucking art world. Do you know, the demographic of my audience has shifted. I'm talking to people about politics. I go and interview people. Some of the people speak tonight, and go and interview some other people. It's fucking amazing. Being an artist is a responsibility, but you have opportunity to go out there and fucking. And you know, even if you think you can't make a difference, you can offer a resistance to things and just be the like experience and have such an incredible time doing it. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, it's been really nice being here. Culture is not my friend. Thank you.